I'm 25 years old. And if you're 18, I want you to treat this video as your future self time traveling back and to tell your 18-year-old self the truth. Because these are genuinely the advice that I would give to my 18-year-old self. And I understand that everyone's situation is different, but I'll try to explain it as best as I can. And I'm not going to give you any background information about myself because nobody really gives a shit. So here it goes. If you don't work on it, you will never have it. Right? It's such a simple concept. Plants don't grow if you don't water them. If you don't work on something, you will never have it. It's simple as that. You probably get the societal norms now. You probably get the blueprint of your life already. Like, go to school, get a job, buy a house, buy a car, have kids, work, and then you finally get to retire. And you probably think that that is not the life you want. And you probably have bigger aspirations, like making a lot of money and doing all these crazy stuff, travel all around the world, and you want to put that stuff on hold. And you want to work on yourself, and you want to do all those whatever your dream is, right? But I'm here to tell you this. Let me just give you a heads up. I'm sure you've probably seen a lot of these videos by now, right? People who are 2 times, even 3 times your age, and they haven't done anything meaningful in their life, and they look back and regret that they lived their 20s like partying. And you always look at them and wonder, what were you doing all this time? And if you were to summarize these videos, they have one thing in common, and really comes down to they start to regret that they wasted time. They start to regret that they wasted their 20s doing absolutely nothing, and when they get to an older age, they have nothing to show for. So basically all these videos are telling you, don't spend your 20s fucking around. So let me explain something very clearly to you. Whether you're trying to pursue this traditional family life, have kids, sit at home, go to work, and do all this, or you're trying to, work on yourself first, building your business or building your empire or self-improvement, whatever it is, or you want to push back the traditional family life because you're building yourself. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? As I've said earlier, if you don't work on it, you will never have it. Now, what does this mean? What does that all mean? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? If you don't work on something, you'll never have it. But most people, they don't understand this until a later age. They're like you, right? 18, young, fresh out of high school. They have big dreams and they have, big aspirations. But I want you to reframe your words a little bit. Dreams do not exist. Okay? You might have this is my dream car, this is my dream house, I dream of being whatever one day, I dream of this, I dream of that. Dreams are merely dreams. They are dreams for a reason. Because you have to be asleep to get it. Why is it that when you wake up in the morning, you forgot 90% of your dreams? Because they're not real. Because they're not important. And your brain is working actively trying to forget your dreams because they're not important and they're not real. If you're still living in a dream world, like you're wondering, like one day I'm going to have this and I'm going to have it, I dream of this, oh, this is my aspiration, just stop. Your hopes and dreams are completely just empty thoughts. Now, why is that? Because you can literally predict your future based on what you're doing right now. Think about your attitude right now, okay? Whether you have a great attitude, whether you have whatever your attitude towards something is, whatever your attitude towards hard work, or whatever your attitude towards what you identify as fun, whatever you do for leisure. Think about your attitude now. Your attitude right now will only get better or worse 2 years down the path. So what you do now can be predicted a year or 2 years down the road. Same thing with your day-to-day, right? If you don't work on whatever that is that you want to work on, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, you're not going to have it in the future. It doesn't matter what you dreamed of. It doesn't matter how big your aspiration is. You're not going to have it. It's simple as that. And and this goes with everything that's of value. Everything that's, you have to work on to get. Pretty much everything that you want. Remember when you were a kid And adults will ask you, your parents or your other adults, your relatives will ask you, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you're like, oh, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a doctor, I want to be this, that, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, you're 18, you're 20, you're 25. How come you never see that? How come they don't ask you that question anymore? How come no adults come to you and you be like, oh, what do you want to do when you grow up? Or what do you want to do in 10, 5 years? Or what do you want to be? And if your reply to them is like, oh, I'm going to be an astronaut, I'm going to be a doctor, they'll laugh at your ass. Okay? They'll be like, oh, you're fucking delusional. Why is that? Why is that? I mean, you're still 18, or you're still 20, or you're still 25. The average time, the lifespan of a person is like what, 80 years old? You still have time, right? But why would they say that to you? Why would they like, you're funny. That's not gonna happen. It's because your attitude. It's because of your habits. They are aware of this. They know that nothing comes to you until if you don't work on it. So they know that judging by your habits, judging by your past, judging by your attitude towards everything, the likelihood of you having those things and achieving those goals are nearly impossible. Your habits and your attitude defines who you are. What you do on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis, it defines who you are. Think about like whatever you do for work, right? Maybe you're a teacher, you're a construction worker, you're a office worker, or whatever it is, you're a janitor, whatever. If someone were to ask you what do you do for work, you tell them your profession, and they will immediately assume a certain stereotypes about you, right? If you're a teacher, oh, you're probably very smart, you're probably a college professor, you're probably this, probably that. So they assume a certain qualities about you if you tell them like what do you do for work. That's the same with who you are, because your habits becomes who you are. It becomes a part of your identity. People will categorize certain stereotypes with you, whether it's good or bad. So I want you to think about your dreams or whatever it is, that goal that you want to achieve in your life for a moment here. You're not entitled to any of that, okay? You're not entitled to go to school. You're not entitled to buy a house. You're not entitled to buy a car. You're not entitled to get a job. You're not even entitled to start a family. All of those things, you have to work for it. You have every single one of them. Every single one of those things, you are not entitled to it. You have to work for it. It doesn't matter what you want. It only matters what you deserve. So it's really straight to the point. And I'm sure one of the reasons that you click on this video is because you want to accomplish something before you're 25 or before you're 30 years old, and looking back, and you don't want to end up like one of those people. You know, you don't want to be in the same position that you are like 7 years down the road. Still working at the crappy job, still living in the same place, still hoping that things will get better, still waiting for a miracle to happen like winning the lottery. Here's a brief summary of what you need to do. I want you to identify opportunities and lock onto opportunities. Now, what does that mean by this? Have you ever heard of the red car theory? Like, if I were to ask you how many red cars have you seen on the street today, you probably be like, I don't know, probably none. But if I were to tell you in advance that tomorrow I want you to go out to the street, I want you to count how many red cars have you seen on the street and report that number back to me at the end of the day, you probably start to look for red cars, right? You're probably seeing like maybe 10, 15 red cars throughout the day. Now, what is that important? It's because opportunities are not opportunities if you're not actively looking for them. Same thing with the red car theory. If you're not actively looking for the red car, it just passes through you without you even realizing it. So you need to start to understand like how can I identify opportunities like that, whether it's a business idea or whether it's a job opportunity, whether it's an opportunity for you to grow a skill, whether it's an opportunity for you to approach a girl, something like that. It's like you need to start to identify them, and I want you to incorporate them in your schedule. I don't care how busy your schedule is, all right? Incorporate these opportunities, like incorporate your ability to identify these opportunities and act on them on the spot. You need to be able to act on the spot. A lot of people, they overthink. they just their mind starts to spiral when they saw an opportunity, because they're scared. Okay, they're scared that what if they fail? What if it doesn't work? What if I embarrass myself or whatever it is? They just start to second guess that maybe I shouldn't even do this. Like what if I fail? What if this? What if that? What if this? So in a long enough time period, their mind will start to forget opportunities exist because they're afraid of failure, right? They don't act when opportunity are presented to them, and they just push it to the side. And the next time that opportunity comes up, your brain is like, oh, that's not important. Yeah, and I'm not gonna act anyway. Why should I even care? Why would I care? So instead of overthinking, I want you to do it now. Do it right now. And you need to develop a sense of urgency, because urgency mitigates a lot of stupidity. Okay, it mitigates a lot of overthinking. So if you just do it at the moment, you've pretty much planted a seed. It may seem small, the action may seem small at the time, but over time it will grow. Over time, that opportunity will help you achieve your goal. Because the thing is, things will take longer than you expected. There's always a learning curve for you to have to go through. And 99% of people saw that learning curve. It's like, oh man, I have to do this for this amount of time with no reward, without seeing any progress or result. And that's why they quit. And if you do so, and if you just act when opportunities arise, you've already beaten 99% of people. This will save you from all the regrets that you're going to have years down the line, like some of these people have. And when you're 18, it's okay to not get everything. It's okay to work slowly on something that you might not completely get. That's fine. It's okay to learn. It's okay to just, go through all the struggle. But you need to work on something that will make you money. Because after all, you do need bills to pay. You do have a lot of things that you have to do. And it does revolve around money. A skill or a job or an opportunity where you can spend the least amount of time, but you get the most amount of reward from it. That is a skill that you need to be working on. And once you've identified that skill, you need to work hard. Okay? The one thing that you will never regret growing older is working hard. You will never regret the nights that you spent so long working and trying to figure it out. You will never regret the pain that you deal when everyone is outside having fun and you're the only one stuck in your room working on and trying to build yourself up and trying to build your future. You will never regret the lonely nights where when you're lying in your bed thinking like, what am I doing with my life, man? I don't know if this is going to work out. I don't know if this will ever happen, but I just have to try. I have to do it. And when those hard times present themselves, you just have to realize something. You just have to accept the trade-off, right? There's opportunity cost to everything. You can't be at two places at the same time. When you're doing something, when you choose this path, you're automatically, subconsciously saying no to all other things, all other different paths. You know that when you're pursuing this goal, you're subconsciously saying no to every other distraction, anything else that's gonna come this way. And the life you live is gonna be different from person to person, right? A lot of people, they may have they may have a good time in their 20s. They may have a well, traveled and well experienced life when they're 18 to 25. But I would argue that a lot of guys, when they're 18 to 25, they don't really know what they're doing. Okay, they're just going into the world aimlessly, like a chicken with its head chopped off. Like they don't know what they want. They feel hopeless. But when you're in your teenage years, you shouldn't be thinking like, 25 is gonna be your end goal, right? You're gonna figure everything out by 25 when you're 25 years old. I think it should be a checkpoint. It should be a checkpoint for you to look back and think that, what have I done up until this point? What is worth remembering? What is something meaningful that I've done up until this point? Like, am I proud of the things that I've done in the past 7 years? And the truth is, the reason why you're having that thought is because when you're 18, 19, your body is at its peak. Your physical condition is at its peak. You don't get tired. You don't need rest. You recover like Wolverine, essentially. You can pretty much work 10, 12 hours days every single day without having any sort of health problem. If you actually get your sleep and your diet on point. If you actually eat nutritiously and you sleep enough, you won't get tired. If you think you're tired, you're just completely mentally weak. Except for the time you spend sleeping and eating, you can literally work every hour of the day and not have any problems. And that's the truth. Don't ever think like, oh, I'm tired or I'm stressed or I'm this or I'm that. You're not tired. You just need rest and you can keep going. You need to realize that your youth doesn't last forever. If you're feeling sluggish now, if you're feeling drowsy when you wake up in the morning and you feel sluggish throughout the day, imagine when you're 30 years old. Imagine when you're 40. Imagine when you're 50. You think things are going to get better? You think your energy level and productivity level is going to be better? Your teens and 20s don't last forever. Stop thinking that it does. Stop thinking that you have time. Stop thinking that, like, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it next week. I'm going to do it next month. Another thing that I want to point out is do not, under any circumstance, do drugs or alcohol or get addicted to drugs or alcohol. I don't care how much peer pressure that you're getting. I don't care how exhausted or how stressed or how anxious you feel during the day. You should not take drugs or alcohol, because once you're addicted, you pretty much throw away your entire 20s. You pretty much throw away your time and your productivity. Because the worst thing that drugs and alcohol can do for you is taking away your energy level and your ambition. You know, when you're 18 or when you're 20, you have ambition, you have this raging fire inside of you for you to wanting to go out and do something and accomplish anything. If you take drugs and alcohol, if you get addicted to those, it will seeps into your brain, it will seeps into your mind and take away that ambition. It will make you less energized. It's pretty much like a bucket of water that you're taking and dumping out your flame of ambition. Your ambition is there to help you to get things done, to help you solve problems, to help you achieve your goals, to motivate you every time you accomplish something. The people who you hang around with that peer pressure you into smoking weed, they will destroy your life. Okay, they know that weed have destroyed their life, so they don't want to be alone, and they want to pull you, and they want to drag you down with them, so they want to make you addicted as well. Don't cave into that. Don't give in to that. And I know it's hard, right? It's hard to listen to other people's advice. It's hard to learn from other people's mistakes when you yourself haven't experienced the same, when you haven't been in that predicament, and you just don't have the same feelings. It's like, why should I listen to you? But I'm sure there are people who are around the same age will agree with the things that I'm saying. So it isn't about me telling you what to do and you should do it. It's about you taking in what I've experienced and some of my advice and maybe applying it to your life, and hopefully that you don't wake up one day and then you're 25 years old and then you think, oh shit, I fucked up. He was right. If there's one thing that you can take away from this video before you leave, is what I've said in the beginning. If you don't work on it, you will never have it. Just think about what you do on a day-to-day basis. Think about your routine today or the past week. What have you done to work towards your goal? How much time have you put in it? If you did not spend any time or any effort in achieving your goal, if your goal wasn't a part of the equation in your day-to-day routine, you're not going to have it. It's simple as that. It doesn't matter how many years it's been. It doesn't matter how many years down the road. What you do now is what you're going to have in the future. Simple as that. Anyways, thanks for watching.